seatbelt and no smoking signs. Thank you.
Excuse me, could you tell us where we can get a cab into the centre of town, please?
Oh yes, it's right outside the terminal booth. It's through those doors.
Taxi! Got in. Centre point, please.
Mark Smith on LBC 1152 AM, 97.3 FM in stereo, talking to London and the South East 24 hours a day. Westminster Council has to start charging traders for rubbish collection. The council estimates the move will bring in an extra £2 million a year.
Good, it was excellent. We came out.
Sitting by the pool, quiet conversation, speaking coolly, let the sensation wash over me. Oh, can't you see the situation? Can you feel my implication? Why not take a chance on a summer romance? Baby, spend
off.
Excuse me, what's happening here?
Well, this is the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace. Happens every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. Great pomp and service. Welcome.
Those in the no.
I see older people act this way. Look at them, they're jumping on barriers and God knows what else. Just the
If we take the tube down to Liverpool Street, we can go down Petticoat Lane, can't we?
To the market.
Tourists are active in this area. Please take extra care of your wallets and handbags. Achtung, dies ist eine polizeiliche Warnung. In diesem Gebiet gibt es Taschendiebe. Bitte passen Sie besonders auf Ihre Handtaschen und andere persönliche Wertsachen auf. Dankeschön.
Very, very good watch. Small or large, the same price. Very, very good value, I can assure you that. In a shop, they'll cost £25 at least. £1
for the fingers. £1. £1. £1 for the fingers, lady. £1 for the large one. £1 for the fingers. £1 for the extra large one. £1 for the suitcase for one. Suitcase for the pound. Only a few. £1, lady. Buy one the cheap. £1 a dozen. £1. £1 for the big one. The big chopper. £1 for the bigger stuff. £1. There they are. Takes no room up. Fill the weight. This is it. There they are. Do what you like. You'll not destroy them. £1 for the extra large one, dear. There you are, sir. £1 for the large one. Little bit of upfront. £1. £1 for the extra large one, dear. Or you can have them back.
£4 for a pound. £4 for a pound, they're all mixed colours. £6 for a pound, the ladies. £4 for a pound, the gents. £6 for a pound, the ladies.
Size 1, size 2 and
£4 for a
size
pound,
3.
the gents.
Baby's jumpers.
£6 for a pound, the ladies' eggs.
Size 1, size 2 and size 3. £2.
Cheap. It's cheap.
Get your shapes and sizes in. £19. £8. 11. You got all the shapes, you got all the sizes.
5 for 20 London cards. 5 for 20 London cards. 5 different cards, 20 pence. 5 London cards, 20p a real, 5 for 20. 20 pence 5 for 20 London cards. Have room in the kitchen to get
Rosley, is there what we do for this, man?
50 pence only. Anybody else at 50 pence? I'll have a big drink. Gyroscopes are used in airliners, ocean liners, submarines. They walk the tightrope on the street while defying all laws of gravity. Just leave it to the cleverness of any intelligent boy or girl to see where a gyroscope might And I'm going to show you now, last of all, the most amazing effect to the jar. This is what we call the magic box. This is how it works. You just take the string, any string will do. We give you string with every jar of skirt wrap we sell. Wrap the string around tightly a few times. And now, just pull the string away. You show me the child that would ever say no to a toy that never took that. Isn't that fantastic?
There's your 18-inch pad and I'll dedicate you like a pound. 50 Gucci bag. A pound, a pound. Pay me a pound. Look, not the man. Look, not somebody there. Give me a pound to do. You want it. Less than the price of a pint. Be quick, and if you hesitate, you need to late. Look, there's one. Any pair you like a pound? I want to clear it up for a pound. Any pair you like? Over £18 worth of jewellery. Put that in a fancy box and charge you a lot of money. Offer me, give me a pound to tear them. £1. Less than the price of a pint. Look, less than a packet of cigarettes. There's your 18-inch phone, mate. You want them. There's your bag. I open up every single packet. Look, over £18 in value. Before that fleece was done, any pair you like a pound? You want one, madam. That lady wants one. I've got a few left. Look, there's your vote check. I don't show you one thing and give you another. What I show you is exactly what I give you. You want one, sir. £1 to tear them. I've got a few left to go. Look, there's one. What should I do? There's two. Look, there's three. Over £18. That lady there wants one. If you hesitate, you'll be too late. Come closer. I don't like you. Come in and have a look at them. Touch them. Feel them. Over £18. Give me a pound for the lot. £1 is the price in take. Look, not one. Look, I show you something.
Nice that way.
There's two. There's three.
Let's go down the tube and see if we can find some more buskers on the way back.
which are both down the Thames.
Yes, from the Tower of London down to Greenwich.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome aboard the Sir Richard Grenville for our trip this afternoon to Greenwich. You're for Greenwich? Okay, we go to Greenwich. Just making sure you're all awake. Now, on the way to Greenwich, there are one or two places of interest, and to try and make the journey a little bit more enjoyable, I'll point some of these out as we pass them by. Now, the first place of interest, of course, is our fully licensed bar, which is situated downstairs in the lower saloon, should you require a drink on the journey. The bar situated downstairs in the lower saloon. Over to the left-hand side now, behind the trees, we have the famous Tower of London, which is, of course, Europe's oldest historic fortress, first begun by William the Conqueror in the year 1078. In its long history, it's been many things, such as a palace, a prison, a fortress, a mint, and also a zoo. Today, the tower is maintained by a state garrison, housing the famous collection of the Crown Jewels, which are guarded by the world-famous beefeaters and a detachment of Her Majesty's Foot Guards. The building in the centre, you see, with the four turrets flying the Union flag, is the original Norman Keep, the Great White Tower, built for William the Conqueror. On the river wall, you can see the notice marking the bricked-up entry to the Traitors' Gate. That was the river entrance to the Tower of London for those unfortunate prisoners who were tried for treason at the Palace of Westminster. They were taken through there for their eventual execution on Tower Hill, said to be London's first one-way street. Some of the famous people to go through that gateway, of course, was Anne Boleyn, Lady Jane Grey, the Earl of Essex, and also Sir Thomas More, and also a young princess who later went on to become probably the greatest queen of this country when she escaped the executioner's axe. That was Princess Elizabeth, later Elizabeth I, the greatest queen of England. Directly ahead of us now we have the gateway to the City of London, which is of course Tower Bridge. Opened in 1894, built by Sir John Wolfe Barry. Completed in the Gothic style to blend in with the Tower of London. The two centre spans of the bridge, of course, are the drawbridge section, each one weighing over 1,000 tonnes. Now they can be raised in just 2 minutes to give entry into large ships into this part of the Thames known as the Upper Pool. The bridge has only failed to open on one occasion, and that was at the opening ceremony, when it failed for the Prince of Wales, who later became King Edward VII. The two Gothic-style towers house the machinery for lifting and lowering the bridge, joined at the top by two pedestrian walkways. But these pedestrian walkways in fact closed to the public many years ago, soon after the bridge opened, as too many people used them for the quick way down, the most popular place on the River Thames for suicides. But of course, once they were closed to the public, people wishing to commit suicide simply did so from this lower section. It had the same result. The only difference, of course, the splash was slightly smaller. In fact, the two footbridges up there now are enclosed in glass. The reason for this, of course, Tower Bridge is now an official London museum. And you can visit those footbridges. You can walk up one side and cross down the other side, and from there, of course, you get probably the finest views over London. Now we've passed through the bridge, we come into the once busy dock part of the Thames, known of course as London's Docklands. As we pass the dock, if you look right to the end, you'll see some pale blue doorways. That part of the dock is known as Jacob's Island. And if we have any readers of Charles Dickens aboard, you may remember the name Jacob's Island from his novel Oliver Twist. It was there that the legendary character Fagin had his thieves' lair. And of course it's also where Bill Sykes fell to his death into the mud of the river after murdering Nancy on the stairs at Old London Bridge. Now look in there, you can see two flights of steps. The ones nearest the wall, the narrow stairs, are called Whopping Old Stairs, the oldest known waterman stairs on the River Thames. Many years ago it was down these steps that pirates and smugglers were taken to their execution. They were taken down the steps at low water and along the riverbank to where you see Oddbins Wines, the small warehouse there with a letter E. That recess is known as Execution Dock. It was here that stakes were driven into the riverbed. Pirates and smugglers were then chained to the stakes and left for the tide to rise and fall over them 3 times. That method of execution was known as the Grace of Wapping, and the last pirate to receive the Grace of Wapping was the notorious Boston pirate Captain Kidd in 1701. The River Thames Police were in fact established here in Wapping in 1798 by the East India Company. They're the oldest known police force in the world. They still have their headquarters here at Wapping, which is just ahead on the left where you see Wapping Police Pier and Wapping Police Station. The black and white boats you see there with police on the side are police boats. Now to the right-hand side we have the district of Rotherhithe, and just ahead on the right you can see a white church spire. That is the parish church of Rotherhithe, St Mary's. Now buried in the churchyard of St Mary's is a very famous sea captain, Captain Christopher Jones. Captain Christopher Jones was in fact the master and part owner of the famous pilgrim ship, the Mayflower, which set sail from here at Rotherhithe on that famous journey. Captain Jones, of course, came from the district of Rotherhithe, as did most of the crew, and as we pass the church and Thames Tunnel Mills, you'll see a small white public house. That is called the Mayflower, and if you look on the roof, you'll see a replica of that ship as a weather vane cast in bronze. It was from that very point that the Mayflower set sail on that famous journey to Plymouth and the new lands. But looking over to the left-hand side now, you see the white building there with the black and gold signs above the windows, which is probably the most famous of all the Thames Side taverns, the Prospect of Whitby, which was built around the year 1514. Many tales of smuggling and piracy are associated with that pub. Captain Kidd was captured there in 1701. In the saloon bar they have a trapdoor where the people used to escape the notorious press gangs. However, the only pirates you're likely to find there today are those serving behind the bar. The name Prospect comes from a sailing ship called the Prospect, registered at the Yorkshire port of Whitby. It was in this ship that a 14-year-old cabin boy first went to sea, later to become a great sea captain and possibly the greatest navigator explorer of all time, Captain James Cook. Looking directly ahead of the boat now, another church spire on this religious pub crawl down to Greenwich. Now, many years ago, the landowner of Shadwell was Bishop Randolph. He was also a landowner in Virginia, but it was to that church that they took their daughter Jane to be baptized. And Jane Randolph married a Virginian called Peter Jefferson. They had a son called Thomas, and of course went on to become the 3rd President of the United States. Over to the right-hand side, as we pass Columbia Wharf, if you look down the side of the warehouse and between the 2 sheds, you'll see a house which has 2 chimneys and a glass observatory on the roof. It's known as Admiralty House because it was here and once owned and used by the famous Sea Lord, Admiral Lord Nelson. Now, he used to live there many years ago with his mistress, Lady Hamilton, whilst his ships were on review at the Deptford Naval Dockyard, which is situated a bit further downriver, where you see those high-rise flats ahead of us to the right. Now, during the reign of Elizabeth I, many of the ships that sailed out to defeat the Spanish Armada were built and launched over there at Deptford. The only remaining buildings of the Deptford Dockyard you can see now to the right, the old 17th century rum warehouses, between which, leading down to the river, is a flight of steps, with the wrought iron gates and 2 stone pillars at the top. According to the history books and tradition, it was around the vicinity of those stairs that Sir Walter Raleigh laid his cloak over the puddle for Elizabeth I. She was on her way out aboard a ship called the Golden Hind, where she was to knight her greatest sea captain, Sir Francis Drake. Directly ahead of us now, the Royal Borough of Greenwich, which is one of the most historical boroughs on the River Thames, the site of a royal palace. There's been a royal palace at Greenwich as far back as the reign of Edward I in 1272. Henry VIII, his daughters, Mary and Elizabeth, were all born here at Greenwich. The oldest surviving part of the palace at Greenwich today is the Queen's House. The Queen's House was designed by Inigo Jones and built for James I. Completed during the reign of his son, Charles I, who then gave the building to his wife, Queen Henrietta Maria, hence the name Queen's House, this building now forming part of the National Maritime Museum. A fine view now of the famous tea clipper Cutty Sark, as I said, the fastest tea clipper of all time. She's over 100 years old and was built in Scotland. Employed in the tea trade between China and London, later in the wool trade between Australia and London. On the Australian wool run, she broke the speed record of 364 miles in just 24 hours, a speed envied by many motor ships today. She carried 36,000 square feet of canvas, given a speed of 25 knots. The name Cutty Sark doesn't come from a bottle of whiskey, it is in fact a Scottish name meaning short shirt, which comes from a poem by Robbie Burns called Tam O'Shanter. Also on the River Wall there's a small white yacht which is the Gypsy Moth 4, the yacht in which Sir Francis Chichester at the age of 65 circumnavigated the world single-handed on his own. Now the buildings to the right hand side is the Royal Naval College, but was of course once the Palace of Greenwich. Originally built for Charles II to the design of Sir Christopher Wren, completed during the reign of William and Mary. In fact, the two domes either side of the college are miniature replicas of Wren's masterpiece, St Paul's Cathedral. You'll see that it's built in two sections as we turn the boat heading to the college, and the reason for this, of course, was towards the Queen's House on an unobstructed view of the River Thames. That's the Queen's House, coming in view now in the background. As I said, this is part of the National Maritime Museum. Then if we look beyond the Queen's House and up on the hilltop about to come into view, we have a statue of a local British man by the name of James Wolfe, better known of course as General James Wolfe, who was the victor at Quebec in Canada, when he scaled the Heights of Abraham to take Quebec from the French. That statue was presented to this country by the Canadian nation in 1937. The buildings on the hilltop to the right of the statue is of course the Royal Observatory. That's known as Flamsteed House, named after John Flamsteed, the first astronomer royal. As I said earlier, geographically speaking, that is the centre of the world, because it's here that the prime meridian starts and finishes. If you're a navigator or a pilot, you'll know about the prime meridian. It is, of course, 0 degrees longitude. That separates longitude east from longitude west. Now you can go to official buildings around the world and see various clocks on the wall giving you the times of various cities, such as Moscow, New York, Vancouver, Washington, Sydney. You never see a clock with London, just the words GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. That's the key to it all. It actually means time, more or less. So what you get here from Greenwich is more or less the time. Now it is well worth a visit, Flamsteed House, and once up there you can actually stand astride of the Greenwich Meridian line. It's laid down on the ground. This of course runs from here, right the way around the world, over the North Pole, down under the South Pole, back here to Greenwich, and you can go up there and stand astride of it. You'll have one foot in the east and one foot in the Western Hemisphere at the same time. But do this at your own risk, of course. It's quite painful. The line's 6 foot wide. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all there is to see now here at Greenwich, and we're slowly drifting into Greenwich Pier. And of course this brings us to the end of the trip, and also brings me now to the end of this commentary, which I do hope that you found enjoyable. Now I would like to point out at this stage that members of the crews on all the Thames pleasure boats are not professional guides.
Well, this is Covent Garden Market Street Theatre.
Looks interesting. I just overheard someone say that they've got something going on each corner. They've got a skiffle band and a string octet and some Chinese guys.
Well, it's walk around the corner.
Sounds like a good idea.
They're all right. Anyone else then? Oh, there's lovely flowers. Oh, there's lovely
time we're going to try and play it with the music, because the last time the wind blew the music off the stands. It's going to be The Arrival of the Queen of Sheba by Handel.
Well, he wasn't bad, was he?
No, I thought he was very good. Seeing as we're at Marble Arch, shall we go and have a talk?
What, you mean Speaker's Corner?
Yeah, have a listen to what they're all saying.
There is no devil! What caused you to be cheated on your husband? There is no devil! What caused you to be cheated on your wife? There is no devil! What caused you to commit fornication? Oh, there is no devil. But Jesus says he is the thief. He is the father of thieves. He is the father of lies. He is the father of sin. From the beginning and to the end. And he will continue to be the liar and the thief and the cheater.
Food in the world's population could bloody eat. And yet you see poor little African and Asian and South American children falling over with weakness because there's a lack of food in their bellies. Not because there's a lack of food, full stop, because there's a lack of food in their bellies and they're surrounded by riches. Now this is a crazy world.
Surrounded by military
and it can be changed once you, the working class, decide to do something about it. Instead of getting up in the morning and going to the papers and buying your packet of bloody coffin nails and your comic called The Sun or The Mirror and listening to all these wallies like Maxwell and Rupert Murdoch and Maggie Thatcher and Mr. Gorbachev and who else? Reagan. Oh, the cowboy, the great magnificent cowboy. If ever there was a bloody... Nixon was bad enough, but how the American people have put a wally like that in, I don't know. I don't know. Nixon was bad enough. I mean, I've seen a whole procession of these so-called great chants and magnificent men on that flying machine. Yeah. You know, they're all going to solve your problem. Do you really believe it? Do you really believe that by putting a little cross against David Steele's name, he's going to do something for you? Bullshit! You know it!
Come with me. Yeah, this looks like the place. Truscott Arms, Maida Vale.
Oh, it says here in the paper there's a live band upstairs tonight.
Oh, well, pop upstairs and have a listen then.
Mine's a
Action ring. Can I have your glasses, please? Come on, everybody, ready for each piss off.
Oh, there's that.
A curve
Kirk's here. Kirk's here, it's outside.
Negative, Woods. Yeah, what sounding doing? Alright, 2-1 will be 1 minute, yeah? Mike, fire. Oh, okay. Testing you. I'm off my Woods.